to today's video where we're going to be talking all about the dark night of the soul. If you're new here, hello, hi, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you click subscribe. If you're returning, a massive thank you to you. As always, I do need to give gratitude and adoration to my great queen, the Morrigan, to whom all my work is devoted to. Consider me your spiritual teacher, your spiritual bestie who walks along your spiritual journey with you, supporting you along the way. Today, we're going to be talking about the dark night of the soul, what it means, when it could happen, how it impacts us, and what to do potentially when one is experiencing the dark night of the soul. Now, I want to preface by saying that this is a term that has been used for many, many years and can be interchangeable with other terms. The definition, in essence, of the dark night of the soul is the collapse of the current constructs of what one's life looks like, the meaning, the purpose of life, as one lives and resides in the darkness before they tap into a different level of consciousness and awareness in their life. I hope that made sense. I know that was a bit of a mouthful. The dark night of the soul, in essence, is a dissolving of the current constructs of what one considers life, and it's a complete reshaping while complete releasing or removing or detaching from what one would once consider meaning in life. And so it's a pretty heavy experience. It's definitely something that can shake us to the core as individuals, as humans. But what comes on the other side of that dark night of the soul is the light. It's the awareness, it's the consciousness, it's the understanding in a much larger way, or in a more expansive way, what life is and who one is and how one plays a role in this vast, beautiful life that not only exists here on Mother Earth, but cosmically, energetically as well. There's a card by Rebecca Campbell in her work with your light, and it talks about the initiation. You're going somewhere sacred. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the imagery of it, but it's darkness followed by a small little tunnel, and on the other side it looks like it's filled with riches, with all this beautiful new opportunity, this new life. And that is in essence what the dark night of the soul is. It's one walking through this darkness, having complete faith and trust in the unknown, completely removing and detaching from everything that one thought was or was believed to be a particular narrative, so that one can understand how to move forward in life in a different frequency or a vibration. So it's pretty heavy stuff emotionally. Oftentimes, when one is in depressive state of mind or is suffering from depression, one is sitting in the dark night of the soul unbeknownst to them. Now, I am not a medical professional. I am not a therapist. So if you are currently feeling depression, please go talk to your doctor, do your thing. Okay, I'm going to talk about this from a very spiritual perspective. The reason why we feel depression while we're currently experiencing the dark night of the soul, or why one could be experiencing and feeling depression, is because depression is attached to thinking about the past. And the dark night of the soul is asking you to completely remove and detach and let go of everything from the past to make way for something new that you don't, or one does not yet know what is. So you yourself, if you're going through the dark night of the soul, you're basically being asked to dissolve. It's like a death and a rebirth. If you follow tarot, it's like the death card or the tower card. Everything has to come off. Everything. The way you think, the way you act, the way you dress, the people you hang out with, the people in your circle, all of that has to collapse in order to, sorry, my neighbors are all playing outside, in order for one to be able to release that old life and in in air quotes, die, right? The ego has to die so that there can be space for something new to come. Right. And so it's like, the phrase, when one door closes, another opens. However, that depression, closing that door, can feel very, very difficult, and can also be very difficult, and it can also be very mentally exhausting, physically exhausting. Where that exhaustion and that difficulty comes from, though, is the resistance. All right, it's the resistance of the acceptance that what is in the past, what is we're attaching to, or what one is attaching to or holding on to, has to be let go. Oftentimes one experiences the dark night of the soul while they're going through a catalyst moment in their life, or what one could consider pretty catastrophic, whether it be the death of a family member. I hope to the universe that that is not the case for you. I ask the universe to protect all the ones that you love, okay? But it could be a death, a significant death in the circle of the people that you love. It could be the ending of a big relationship or a small relationship, an ending of a relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic. It could be the leaving of a job, or having to leave a job, or being let go from a job or a career. It could be a plethora of big catalyst moments that create this massive energetic tsunami to wipe a slate clean. When you're in the dark night of the soul and you're in that energy of depression and of lack, you lose the lust for life, you lose the excitement for life. And I'll say this I'll say two things on that phrase. One thing is to be gentle with yourself and to be forgiving with yourself, because the dark night of the soul is definitely not a walk in the park. It's not lollipops and gumdrops and excitement. It's really the dissolving of the ego. It's the shedding of the old person. If I can think about books that could resonate to the dark night of the soul, I think about this book by, I believe his name is Albert Clayton, called You Are Not Who You Think You Are. The other book that I would recommend, which is right here, it's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so those are just two books that basically are supporting you in this dissolving so that you can find the lust for life. And oftentimes, if one is being real with themselves, the dark night of the soul truly comes into our life for us to support us in our spiritual journey and to take us and propel us forward into our true soul purpose and into alignment with our highest frequency, with our highest vibration, with our truest self. Having said that, when one is in the dark night of the soul, they don't see it that way at all, right? We want to grasp on often as humans to what is safe, to what is comfortable, to what we know, to complacency, to what is, consistent. The dark night of the soul asks you to shed all of that. The reward of the dark night of the soul is that once one is able to shed all of the past, all the things that are no longer serving them, for a complete collapse to happen in their life, they open up these new pathways into life that align them with purpose, with happiness, with celebration, with love, with opportunity, with abundance, with gratitude. Because many people who experience their dark night of the soul are living their lives on autopilot. They're not conscious about the people that they're associating with. They're not conscious about the food that they're eating. They're not conscious about what they're consuming via the media. They're not conscious about their day-to-day actions. One is, waking up, doing the 9 to 5, doing things that they don't love, but they feel they have to do. They're going to a job that maybe they don't really like. They're surrounding themselves with people that they've known for 20 years, but that have no commonality with them, right? And so this dark night of the soul kind of comes into one's life, especially those who are seeking spiritual fulfillment or are on their spiritual journey. The dark night of the soul comes to help you kind of shift back into your true path, into the path that will support you for your highest good. But like I said, change is difficult, right? If one is trying to lose weight, losing that weight is not easy, right? If one is trying to quit an addiction like smoking or drinking, quitting is not easy, right? And so that whole dark night of the soul, one has to understand that while it's not easy, one could say that nothing ever worth really having comes easy. Or one could turn around and say that it's not about it being easy or hard, and one should not attach specific things to it, but understanding that it is part of the journey of life, and that within every quote unquote challenge, there lies an opportunity. And so that's what the dark night of the soul really does to a person. It helps them to see different perspectives without attaching meaning, weight, heaviness to particular things, right? Like if you're having to move from a home, if you're attaching all this weight and all this energy to this home that you know you need to leave, the resistance into surrendering to leaving that home will be far more difficult, quote unquote, than it would be if one turned around and said, well, I know that my time here in this home is done. Thank you, home, for all the beautiful things that you've done. Now I'm moving on from this 1,200 square foot home to my multi-million-dollar mansion. Do you see the difference? Another really big thing that happens during the dark night of the soul is one actually starts sitting and staying present in the energy of now and starts acknowledging all the things that are happening around them that maybe aren't either serving them for their highest good, or are habits that are self-limiting, or that are restrictive, or they're so recognizing that they're associating with people that are holding them back or that are not truly supportive. It's almost like, I guess one could consider it an out-of-body experience when one experiences the dark night of the soul, because you would pull yourself out during the dark night of the soul and start kind of like analyzing everything around you and saying, well, why did I attach so much meaning to this friendship when I know that this person has never been kind to me or uses me, right? Or why did I attach so much meaning to this job, to this career, when I hate it? My mom or my dad wanted me to be a lawyer, so I'm just using the lawyer as an example. So why did I attach so much weight to being a lawyer when it's not even something that's in alignment with me? So those kinds of questions start to cycle within the mind of an individual who is experiencing the dark night of the soul. So if you're finding yourself asking those questions where you're wondering what your purpose is in life, why you are here, what you're supposed to do with your life, why you're hanging out with people who don't fill your cup, why you're eating food that's not bringing you joy and happiness or making you feel good emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever. Seeking those answers, asking the why, the who, the when, all of that is part of you experiencing the dark night of the soul. Because once one starts understanding things from a different perspective, or potentially takes the blinders off, right? The constructs of society, the narratives of society, and one pulls away, one can see that this universe is far more vast, and that there are limitless opportunities in every moment, and that in every moment there is so much to be grateful for. So the next time you're driving and somebody cuts you off, the emotion of rage or anger or how dare they cut me off won't seep in anymore. But this energy of acceptance, compassion, forgiveness, and understanding will, because one will start viewing, or you would start viewing things from a different perspective. You'll start practicing awareness, and you could even turn around and say, maybe this person cut me off because they're a dick, maybe. Or maybe this person cut me off because they have an emergency to go to and they need to make sure they pass this light and they can't wait. And so them cutting me off was the only way that they could get fast to this particular emergency. And that's, what the dark night of the soul is understanding compassion and kindness and love, and detaching from living in the past and resentment and anger. But it comes with time, right? That shift of consciousness, that shift of awareness, that shift of being able to stay present comes with time. And that's what the dark night of the soul brings, right? It's the complete dissolving of the old way of being to bring way for something new. Oftentimes when one is in the dark night of the soul, they'll feel and experience a sense of uncertainty. The energy of what am I supposed to do next will be present in one's life. What's next? The how, the why. And so when you are experiencing the dark night of the soul, it's fantastic to ask yourself those questions while simultaneously understanding that instead of trying to find answers and control outcomes and look beyond the present moment, part of the dark night of the soul is asking the self, you or any individual who is experiencing the dark night of the soul, to stay present, to stay in the moment, to not get ahead of themselves, to find peace in being present and having this unwavering faith and trust that the universe is guiding you along the way, all while you are consciously making a decision every day to show up and be present for the universe. And that's the beautiful thing about the dark night of the soul, right? Is that one starts to intertwine and become one with the universe. And so even difficult, quote unquote, moments will be seen as opportunities for growth and expansion. So one won't be so resentful when something difficult comes about. Rather, they'll start going, well, maybe this is happening for the greater good, so I can learn more about myself and more about this particular experience. And those are all the lessons that the dark night of the soul has. It's really a dissolving of the ego to tap into the truest, highest self. And through that journey of the darkness, where, I like to say, gotta feel it to heal it. Or, if you shove shit under the rug and you don't deal with it, eventually that shit's gonna start to stink, right? So you gotta take out the garbage. And so that's all that the dark night of the soul is asking you to do. But it is in that journey of self-discovery, of awareness, of dissolving of the ego, of staying present, of practicing consciousness, of practicing awareness, right? Like, am I anxious right now? Okay, why am I anxious? Okay, anxiousness is just a feeling. I'm anxious now, I'm letting it go, and that's okay, and now I'm moving on, right? In staying present and acknowledging everything that one is going through, one ends up finding peace. One ends up going further along in their spiritual journey. One ends up becoming closer to alignment and to being an enlightened being or a spiritually awakened being. And that, in essence, is the dark night of the soul. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If it was, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. If you want to work one-on-one with me, take a look at the description box below. There's a link there as well. And if you're into crystal jewelry and you want to shop and pick up some modern day amulets, I create all crystal jewelry to support us in our spiritual journey. You can also shop in the description box below. Thank you so much for your likes, your comments, your shares, your subscribes. Thank you for coming on this new journey with me creating these kinds of videos. We'll see you on the next one. See you later, alligator. Peace out. Bye.